Good morning, everybody. It is, thank you. I feel like Randy. Good morning, everybody. It's an honor to be here with you at this convention and to be part of this conversation that's never been more urgent for the labor movement. Now, in some ways, artificial intelligence seems to be everywhere. In fact, I bet that a bunch of you interacted with it on your way here for this convention. But in the workplace, it's not always easy to spot AI. Just because there aren't robots or maybe even keyboards at your job doesn't mean that there isn't AI-enabled technology. So we're going to do an interactive activity, and we're going to test our skills spotting where AI might be hiding in the workplace. So we've been doing some of these throughout the convention, so I'm sure you know how to use your QR code. We're going to use your phone to vote, just like you've been doing, and we're going to have a QR code for each question on this Randy Weingarten-inspired pop quiz. So pull out your phone. Let's start with the group exercise, and tell me the first word that comes into your mind, the first word you think when you hear AI in the workplace. Yep. Scary, surveillance, job loss. I see robot up there, automation. Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of enthusiasm for AI in the workplace, and that is understandable. Copyright infringement, I have a feeling I know where that came from. Yeah, so as you can see, there's some really great responses up there, and it's right that we are thinking about this. Let's go into some specific real-world examples. Let's start here. A soccer game. Players, one ball, workers doing difficult physical skilled work. So here's the question. Could AI-enabled technology be used in this workplace? All right, give a moment for some responses. Everybody's getting their juices flowing. AI is waking you up this morning. I know you're thrilled. Yeah, I think we can see that there's definitely a majority who are saying yes is the answer to that. Well, worker surveillance is one of the great dangers of AI, and it's here right now in this workplace in the form of sports wearables, from vests that track movement speed to biometric sensors that track heart rates to tracking chips that are embedded in balls and cameras that are collecting real-time spatial data. And all of this data is being fed into and evaluated by AI systems. It's used to evaluate players, and in some instances can even be sold without their consent. Now, these are all significant stressors for athletes that might be among the most surveilled workers in labor. But athletes aren't the only ones being tracked with wearable technology. Workers in warehouses, on the factory floor, and on the job site are also tracked and judged by AI-enabled technology. Now, let's take a look at a very different workplace. Grocery store aisle, shelves, price tags, customers, workers stocking products, helping customers, keeping the store running. The question, is AI in this workplace? Let's take a look at the results. Yeah. You know, if you ever watched that game, the Millionaire game, where you can ask the audience, I think clearly if that happens here, we're going to be asking the audience. Because yes, once again, yes. AI can show up in pricing systems, inventory systems, customer analytics, scheduling software, cameras, surveillance tools, and even electronic shelf labels. Let's talk about electronic shelf labels for a second. They aren't just there to show a price. They allow stores to change prices quickly and unfairly using data about all of us, you as a consumer. It's called surveillance pricing, and grocery stores and big box chains can change what you pay because of your zip code or your occupation or if you're a new parent. Beyond potentially raising the prices that we all pay to feed our families, replacing paper prices with digital prices means there are fewer workers in the store to change out those prices when needed. So surveillance pricing is just one example of how AI systems collect and use worker and consumer data, often without people's knowledge or consent. More and more employers are also using bossware AI tools trained by workers' data. Bossware is used to manage workers, scheduling and staffing workplaces, assigning tasks, even making hiring and sometimes firing decisions, often without any human involved in that decision-making process. Now let's take a look at healthcare. A patient, a provider, a clinic, or a hospital setting is AI in this workplace. I wonder what your answer will be. Okay, clearly you've gotten the hang of this, but I'm betting that AI is in more aspects of this workplace than you think it is. More and more healthcare employers are requiring workers to use untested, AI-driven tools to record conversations with patients, diagnose medical conditions, make treatment recommendations, and even decide insurance eligibility for life-saving care, leading to all kinds of problems. Absent some kind of governance that reflects worker concerns, AI systems are rife with biases, ethics concerns, and inaccurate and even hallucinated output. In healthcare, this has life or death repercussions. No worker should have to face potential discipline for intervening in the event of unsafe or hallucinated AI outputs, or for following their professional expertise to deliver the best patient care possible. Workers should be involved in the purchase and implementation of AI systems, guiding which products to use, if any, before AI is ever implemented in the workplace. Okay, last one.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Todd Owens.
I'm Melissa Moore. We begin tonight with a significant jolt to the global financial markets.
Okay, we're gonna skip this survey because I have a feeling you know the answer, but we do have a bit of a plot twist. That's not a real newscast. That was entirely generated by AI. In fact, all of the videos that you saw in this presentation were entirely generated by AI. So for broadcasters, recording artists, performers, and other media workers, AI can show up in a particularly personal way. Full replacement of the workers' faces, voices, performances, and even our personal identities. And it can be shockingly convincing. Now, here are two videos that were made in my likeness. Let's look at the first one.
I have to admit that AI consent is technically forced consent, as actors may not be asked to audition without consenting. Also, our streaming residual deal has loopholes, and also the union will have a major conflict of interest moving forward in regards to digital replica consent after an actor's death. Not to mention, this will most likely remove any need eventually for background stunts and voiceover dubbing.
So imagine seeing something like this, not here in a presentation about AI in a room full of people talking about this topic, but at home, sitting on your couch, on your phone, scrolling through social media while you're distracted. What are the chances that something false gets through your filter? So that's not a hypothetical for me. After SAG-AFTRA's 2023 TV, theatrical, and streaming strike, during our contract ratification campaign, someone created that unauthorized deepfake video of me. This still unknown party used my image and my voice without my consent to make false statements about the contract and urge our members to vote against an agreement that I had spent more than a year negotiating and that I strongly supported. There's something deeply dehumanizing about seeing your own face and hearing your own voice used to say the opposite of what you believe. And even though that 2023 technology wasn't perfect, I got so many texts and so many calls and emails from people, even people who knew me personally, asking what was going on and why I had made that video. Let's watch the second one.
The 2023 television theatrical contract doesn't truly protect consent. It allows studios to scan performers and reuse our likenesses without meaningful control, and it will wipe out jobs. For background.
So that second video you just saw, that was a recreation of the first one that I made last year using Sora 2. So as you can see, in less than 3 years, the technology has rapidly advanced, and it's becoming harder and harder to identify deepfakes. But that's not the only threat our members face. We're also seeing employers push for digital replicas, authorized clones of our voices and bodies, and synthetics, which are built by scraping the creative work and data of millions of people without permission. And at SAG-AFTRA, we've been working on these issues for years, and we've learned that no single solution is enough. There are 3 strategic channels that have to work together: collective bargaining, public policy, and member and public education. Through collective bargaining, we fought for protections around informed consent, fair compensation, and limits on the use of digital replicas and synthetics. Through public policy, we've supported state and federal rights, including the No Fakes Act, and fought for transparency so the public will know when they're seeing an AI-generated synthetic performance. And through education and engagement, we're helping our own members and the public at large understand what is at stake and how to take action. And that combination matters, because collective bargaining can protect workers under a contract, but it can't reach every platform, every scammer, or every company operating outside a bargaining relationship. And that's why we need strong laws. And laws are not enough alone, if workers don't understand the technology and don't have the power to enforce their rights. And that is why we need an organized, educated, and mobilized labor movement. If your voice can be copied, if your image can be replicated, if your data can be harvested, if your work can be used to train systems that may one day replace or undercut you, this is about you. This is about all workers. The good news, and the most important news out of this presentation, is that workers are not powerless. We know how to deal with technological change. We organize, we bargain, we legislate, we educate, we build coalitions. We fight for standards that protect not just one workplace, but entire industries. And when workers have power, technology can be governed differently. Thank you.